If you're looking for the most comprehensive market analysis, then you have come to the right place. You have found Riz International, and this is our weekly market recap. Now, if you don't know me, my name's Chris. I'm one of the admins here in Riz Elite, and I'm so glad to have all of our Elite members here who are live on the webinar this evening. It's great to have everybody. Let's take a look here at the S&P 500 because we kind of want to know what was going on. After last week, we kind of hit this high and then we pulled back a little bit, but we have kind of been grinding back towards the upside. Got really close to the all-time high on Friday, but missed it by about 75 cents, making the high on Friday was 47.17 and 75 cents. However, that is a good 75 cents short of the all-time high that we hit the week before. So we are kind of clawing back up there. We kind of came down here, found some support around 46.50 and bounced off of that and are pushing back towards the upside. So we'll have to see what happens in the market on Monday. Remember, of course, it will be a short trading week with Thanksgiving here in the United States, and the U.S. stock exchanges will be closed. So do be aware of that. As there will typically be less volume in the market prior to a holiday. Now, that, of course, can all change if there is some type of a catalyst or things like that, but usually the week leading into a holiday is pretty light as far as movement and things like that, unless, of course, there are things like earnings that are involved. Taking a look at the breakdown of the S&P 500 this week, we still see that we're kind of grinding back up towards that all-time high. Energy taking a big dip here. We were kind of hovering in this 52, this plus 52% area, now down to only plus 44% on the year. How terrible. Real estate and tech. Tech is continuing to push towards the north side. Real estate is still consolidating here at this 36 level. Financials taking a bit of a beating this week as well. And then utilities and healthcare, not doing too much. Really just kind of trading sideways at this point. So obviously tech is trying to help push things back up and energy is coming back down. And a lot of that is from this rollover here in oil. We kind of hit this month, or yearly high rather, here on the 25th of October. And we haven't been able to make it back up there. So oil in a definite downtrend at this point, making a very bearish move actually on Friday. Towards the south side of town, looking to kind of pull towards that 200 simple moving average. We'll see if it can get there or not, but oil definitely trying to make a turn towards the downside. Gold basically consolidating after the prior week's run. Still not an area where we're interested in buying gold. As far as oil, I don't think Riz will be doing any type of, short ETFs or anything like that as far as oil is concerned, but we'll have to wait and see. Usually he prefers to play oil to the long side, so we'll see where this kind of sell-off stops on oil, and we may see a position at that point. We'll have to keep an eye out for that for all of our elite members, but definitely do not advise buying it here. Same can be said for gold. We really feel like this is overvalued at this point, and it really just isn't going anywhere. If we look at the whole year, gold has just been stuck in this channel the entire time. It will not break free. So, gold not so spectacular right now. We're not really too interested in it. Bitcoin having a hard time here breaking through the 69,000 level. And you have to kind of wonder if they planned it that way. Because, it literally came directly to 69,000, and that is as far as it got. Hit 69,000 even, and then rejected off of that, came back down. One might say that that's nice, but Bitcoin having some trouble here with this new all-time high, making this pullback here towards this previous support level here, right around 55,500 here that we saw this dip here, and we touched around that area here in this previous, retracement. But this is a bit larger, obviously, but we definitely did find some support, have started to rebound off of that, so we'll kind of keep an eye on Bitcoin. As most of you know, we're not trading Bitcoin currently, but it is something that I know a lot of our members do enjoy trading. Just be careful, of course, as it is incredibly volatile. Let's take a quick look at the trades we took this week, and these were two big names that most of you should probably be familiar with. The first one being Walmart. Now, this is one that Riz had mentioned in last week's webinar that he was going to be keeping an eye on this, and what an absolutely beautiful hit and rebound off the 200 simple moving average here. Obviously Friday we did not see that continuation, but still making a higher move than we did on Thursday. So Walmart looking pretty solid here. Let me see when we got in. We got in at on the 17th at 142.15. So basically this trade is just a little bit green right now. Absolutely beautiful 200 simple moving average bounce. Couldn't have timed that any better. And then the other one is mRNA. This is Moderna. Getting kind of hammered here post earnings. Got hammered real bad actually. Let's see. Yeah, they missed on earning EPS and they lost $1 billion. That's an issue. Whenever I lose $1 billion, people typically don't care for it. I can't say that I've ever done it, but I'm sure if I did, they'd be a little bummed out. But yeah, definitely got punished here on earnings. 2 huge gap downs, and let's see how big that is actually, because I'm interested. I am interested. Let's see what... Oh, come on. The mouse is giving me fits. That is something I need to put on the Christmas list. I need a new mouse. Yeah, about 30% of its value in 2 days. Absolutely wrecked here on Moderna post earnings, and so we got in on this one. Let's see, on the 18th at 251.57. So this one already in the green with that gap up on Friday. Very, very nice trade, and that gap up pushes it over the 200 simple moving average, which of course is a big area of support and resistance. As if any of you have been on webinar with me before, I will harp on that because it is definitely something to keep an eye on. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't take a trade necessarily just because a stock is there, but just be aware of what it is and what it can do to your trade if you don't have enough movement to push through that support and resistance. Now, I did get a couple ideas from Riz here of things that he is going to be keeping an eye on this week. So let me just pull that up here real quick. Some of these names, again, should be fairly familiar. The first one is going to be SQ. Now, Square is one of those companies that we held a long time ago, and it just went on an absolute tear. Come on, there we go. As you can see by my previous drawings here, we were in this in the 60s, and man, it has just went nuts. Unfortunately, we were not holding for this huge move, but hey, if you were, congratulations. SQ really just sitting on support here is really what's kind of going on. Multiple hits on this support level. We'll have to see if it does rebound here or not, but this is something that we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on this week. Not saying that we're taking a trade and we don't have a trade. We're not advising you to take a trade, but for all of our elite members, do know that this is on our radar and something that we are considering taking a position in, though we do not have one at this time. Next one's going to be Boeing. Come fly the friendly skies in those 737 Maxes, or maybe don't. Boeing getting absolutely wrecked here, over the last couple days. Could be a very good opportunity for a dip buy here. We are below the 200 simple moving average. We're actually below all the moving averages that I keep an eye on. But let's take a look kind of at the big picture here. So, here's the 737 Max news. That's what that was. And, we've been in this nice, gentle uptrend, though I will say as of late we are a little bit channelized here. In Boeing. Let me go ahead and draw that for you real quick. So probably right about here, and definitely like right about here. But we've definitely had a lot of hits here on this lower support level, so definitely an area to keep an eye on. This 206.50 definitely seems to be very critical for a lot of people. A lot of buying and selling going on there, more so buying than anything else. Yeah, so as this kind of comes back down here, if it does stay in the channel, this would be an excellent place where we could possibly get in. So definitely something to keep an eye on this week as we go into the short week. Next one going to be PLTR. This is another name that should be fairly familiar to you because we were holding this one for quite some time. I took a beating on this, made profit on the first time I got in, and then got back in, and yeah, had to give some of that money back, but what can you do? PLTR taking a beating here after earnings, though. EPS and revenue were well in line. Made an extra $7 million. I'm all about that. They could send some of that to me. That would be do well in my trading account, but the market is punishing those positive results, feeling like this stock is too overvalued for what it offers. Not exactly sure what these guys are smoking, but obviously they're all hanging out with Joe Rogan at this point and Elon Musk. But yeah, big sell-off here in PLTR post-earnings. Got hammered and looking to try and find support here around this $21 or $20 area. We'll have to see if those levels hold. If they do, could be a good position for a mean reversion, which is one way that we often like to trade here in Riz Elite. So that is definitely something to keep an eye out for this week, and keep that on your watch list. As always, this is a favorite in our elite group, so definitely keep an eye on this one. And then the last one, Riz talked about this last week, but we'll talk about it again, 3M. Now, it looked like we were in this nice uptrend, but then Thursday and Friday came and, kind of gave us the finger as opposed to what's going on with that. So, bit of a sell-off here over the last couple days on Triple M. We have not gotten in on this one yet. If you did, you were in for that nice $1.48 dividend. My mistake there. And so that would be free cash in your trading account, so that never hurts. But yeah, getting a little bit of a rollover here on 3M. So we're going to have to see where it lands. If that's something that, we're looking to potentially take. Obviously, we don't want to get in now in anticipation. Though I will say there was a lot of hesitation here on Friday. As you can see, there's a lot of buying, then a lot of selling, and it just kind of closed just slightly red. So we'll have to see if that is a sign for the bottom or if it continues to go. But definitely 3M is something that we are going to be keeping on our watch list this week, and we recommend that you do as well. So I want to go ahead and pass the torch on to all of my elite members. If you have questions, more than happy to discuss those at this moment. Not sure if I'm going to have any of those kick-ass sound bites that Riz gave us last week, but I will definitely be more than happy to take a look at what you're looking at so that we can look at it together. And I'll try and fit look into the sentence a few more times before we call it. But yeah, guys, go ahead. If there's something that you want to take a gander at, let's see what you've got for me. Let me take a look here real quick. I know that, I'll go ahead and talk here about this for a minute since we've got some time while you guys put in your tickers. I know Riz had mentioned that this was his first losing week in his short put rights for quite some time, to be honest with you. Our win percentage on those is astronomical, and it just goes to show you that sometimes the market knows better than you do. And so when you have those weeks, when you have those times, I just want to encourage you to not lose heart, to not feel like, you need to throw in the towel or things just went completely south on you and now you question whether you should be in the market or not. Just take a deep breath and kind of be like, you know what? Everybody has a bad week. Even the pros have a bad week sometimes. So just always keep that in mind, guys. Don't beat yourself up about it. All right, I got some questions here. Cisco. Take a look at Cisco Systems. So another one that got absolutely wrecked post-earnings must have been in reference to that revenue miss, though EPS was in line, actually up 2 cents per share. There seemed to be quite a lot of buying here, but then we had the sell-off, or not really a sell-off, but a bit of a red day here on Friday. Obviously hovering right below the 200 simple moving average. So, but then on earnings day, it pushed back over it. So, obviously Cisco here having a bit of a fight, though I would say this is a slight uptrend. If this continues, then yeah, that could be a very nice one. Could definitely work out for you. Not a huge amount of range, though. So it's like, for this, going back to 56 would be a pretty big move, which right now is like a $2.50 move. So not a huge push here. But, definitely something that you could consider. It is a good company. They do make cash there. Intel, another one. INTC might be helpful if I put the ticker in correctly. Let's see. Looks like we're ex-dividend date has already passed, so 35 cents per share on that. Let's take a look at EPS. EPS looks spectacular, but revenue not so much, probably due to that chip shortage, and I'm not talking about Doritos. Yeah, on Intel right now, really just in a straight downtrend, and I'm not too keen on this one. We'll have to kind of see, but it found the floor down here around this 47, 48 area, but it pushed back up to 52, and then it kind of is coming back down. So this looks to be like the start of a channel, kind of like what we're seeing in this area right here. I can draw that for you. So nice little channel there. Looks like we may be setting up for something like this. Now, of course, Intel could totally, just disregard what I told you and do whatever it wants because, hey, it's Intel and it can do what it wants. But yeah, Intel not as awesome. I like Cisco a bit better than Intel, to be honest with you, as far as setups are concerned. And that would be kind of where I was leaning. All right, several questions here on PayPal. Yeah, let's take a look. PayPal getting absolutely demolished. Holy cow. Question is, where is the floor? Someone is asking, where's the floor now that it busted through 200? Good question. Let's go ahead and take a look here at some potential areas where we may find some support here, because there sure has not been much support for PayPal as of late. Let's see. That looks pretty decent, right around in there. So maybe like around 185, 184.50 could be an area. Let's see. What else we got? Really not much in this area. If you believe the top of the gap, bottom of the gap potential for support, we could also see something around 189, 190. That would be a nice even number for sure. Then I think further down, yeah, that seems decent. Gosh, I need a new mouse. 175, 174, somewhere in that range. So that looks to be kind of where the floor is. Did we actually bounce off of anything here? Yeah, looks like there was some resistance there in that area before. So that might be the reason, at least psychologically, why it kind of bounced off of that and came back down. But man, it came back down with a vengeance. Of course, PayPal rumored to be buying Pinterest, and the stock got absolutely hammered after that news came out. I was able to finally get out of Pinterest with a profit because of the spike on the Pinterest price. I'm curious now. Let's take a look at not Pina. Obviously, I want to go and have a pina colada. That's obviously where I'm at. So yeah, I was able to get out on this bar here. I was pretty happy about it, obviously. And yeah, Pin's getting kind of hammered too, getting back into that downtrend that it was in for so long. So interesting, yeah, with that going on. Someone asked about QE. Can we talk about that? Absolutely, we can talk about that. I'm not seeing just a straight QE. Or are you talking about quantitative easing? Ah, yes, quantitative easings. Okay, yes, not a ticker. So, yeah, I mean, the Fed used quantitative easing quite a bit back in the day to, kind of help, stimulate the market, kind of get it back going again. Honestly, I don't think that they're going to be doing that anytime soon. I could be wrong on that. Now that I've said that it's not going to happen, obviously it will happen. But, man, the market doesn't really need any help right now, if you ask me, unless you believe that the market's being propped up. I don't necessarily. This seems to be just kind of straight up euphoria, if you ask me, based on how the buying and selling is looking. This doesn't look fake to me, for lack of a better term. And so, yeah, I mean, the markets seem really strong right now, and I'm not sure if we really need any more quantitative easing at this point. So, for more specifics, Riz would be the guy to talk to about that, but still, I don't think the Fed is going to be moving back towards that anytime soon. Manuel says he's looking at Twitter, SIFX, and Baba, and I see someone else asked about Baba, so okay, we'll take a look at those. Let's take a look at the Tweety Bird. Tweety Bird getting hammered post-earnings. Ooh, I guess people don't like the censorship. What can you do? No more mean tweets means no more stock price. Apparently missed EPS by 71 cents. Holy cow. Yeah, they got demolished. They earned every bit of this, if you ask me. Looking at these revenue numbers and this EPS, entirely warranted, if you ask me. I believe that Riz would say that he thinks that it's overvalued here in the 60s and 70s. He's probably right. Obviously, you can see that I've been drawing on this in the past. Let's get those out of the way. Not relevant currently. I would not knife catch Twitter if I were you. Not with an EPS on that one. Oof, I would let that one go. Let's find a floor on Twitter first before we even consider taking a long position at this point. Seeming to be finding some support here. Excuse me. But yeah, Twitter looks to be in a free fall. Someone clipped the wings. So let's wait on Twitter. SIFX. I'm guessing you want SFIX? Stitch Fix? Okay. You just typed it the same way. No problem. Okay, so looks like Stitch Fix is selling off here coming into earnings. What are they estimating? Negative 13. Spectacular. Wow, they actually made money back here. That's impressive. And then they still sold off. This looks like Corsair to me. I would hold off on this one. I would definitely not speculate on earnings if I were you, with it selling off like this before. Now, there is always talk, right, about stocks being sold off prior to earnings, and then people buying it back up because they expect earnings to be good, hoping for a push towards the upside. I don't necessarily buy in that. You look at volume down here, there's no abnormal volume going on that I would say. So this is another one I'd be incredibly careful with right now. Yeah, I'm not too jazzed on this one. Definitely something you can keep an eye on, but not my favorite. And then, all right, let's take a look at Baba Black Sheep. Yeah, Baba getting slammed too. I know that we talked about Baba a couple weeks ago, and if memory serves, I think we were looking to potentially take a position in this. But yeah, Baba back down here, looking to be coming back towards support, but this is a very strong move towards the downside. It looks like earnings were pretty pathetic. Yeah, they're making money, but they made less than they estimated, and revenue's down about $500 million. Man, guy's going to be having less lobster dinners, I suppose, with that $500 million gone. Yeah, Baba paying the price for lack of earnings and lack of revenue here, even though it wasn't much, if you ask me. So as far as a potential floor, looking like 130 looks pretty decent. Looks like last time we came right around to where we're at now, around this 138.75 area. Not too much historical data to say that that's actually a support and resistance area. Could just be a psychological area that people are trading off of. But yeah, absolutely demolished here post earnings. And so I'd be very, very careful on those. Okay, so we already talked about PayPal and Baba. Disney. Sure, let's take a look at Disney. Apparently the whole anniversary celebration on Disney is not doing any good for the stock price. Still getting blasted post earnings here, minus missed EPS by 15 cents, which almost constitutes almost 30% drop in EPS. And they gave back $250 million. What can you say? That paltry $18 billion in revenue. Gosh, what a bunch of cheapskates. What can you say? For Disney, it looks like we're kind of in a bit of a free fall here post earnings. There seems to be a lot of, a lot of leftover feelings about earnings. People are not too happy about, so it's still selling off. Be very careful with these guys. I noticed a lot of these look like knife catches, and that's exactly what they are. Yeah, I agree with you, Yas. All growth stocks are getting just wrecked right now. So yeah, I understand a lot of these are reversal setups, but you need to actually see the setup first. Right now, all I see is selling. I just see it, getting sold off. All of these ones that we're looking at, Twitter, Stitch Fix, Baba, Disney, all of these are just selling, and we haven't found a floor. So, guys, you need to understand you don't necessarily need to be in the absolute bottom. You don't need to get out at the absolute top. You just want to take the meat of the move. And if that means waiting for confirmation that something is actually turning around, do it. Because when I look at Disney right now, I don't see any signs of turning around. Okay, this thing is just going down right now. And, someone opened the scuttle valve on the Nautilus for all my, 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Yeah, I used to watch that movie as a kid. But yeah, not going well here for that one. So you be very careful with Disney. You don't want to have a whole bunch of knife catches in your portfolio. So one of the things I want to recommend, guys, when you're setting up your ledger, and you should all have a ledger. If you're an elite, you should all have a ledger, and Riz has those things available to you so you can track your trades. One of the things I recommend adding, if it's not in there already, is talking about what type of trade it is. Is it a mean reversion? Is it a knife catch? Is it a channel move that you're trying to capitalize on when it comes to the bottom of the channel and you buy that support? Or are you trying to, get that rebound? Mention what type of trade it is, because you don't want to have too many of the same type, because it's not being very diverse, and that's what you want. You want to have a diverse trading portfolio. You want to have different setups that you're playing. You don't want to all just play mean reversions, especially knife catches like this that we don't even know where the bottom's at. All right, let's take a look at Fedex. All right, so Fedex came back here after a pretty abysmal earnings season last time. Missed EPS by 50 cents, but revenue was up 73 mil. Obviously, just pocket change for somebody who's making $21 billion a year. We did see it find the floor and it pushed back up. This is just a straight up projection of this 255 area. And we'll have to see where it finds support, whether that be here at the moving average, or let's see what else is hanging around. There's really not too much support area that I'm seeing here, though. It does look like we hit something here right around 240, 250. Coming into this inflection point right here. That one. So it definitely could be an interesting place to keep an eye on it, because you could see some support there, and if that does happen, that would be a good time to get in. Thoughts on growth stocks getting hammered while the big names and indices are going up, i.e. Apple, Nvidia, Microsoft. Let's take a look at them. So yeah, Apple is rolling. I know Nvidia was rolling last time I looked. Holy cow, look at it go. I remember somebody asking, hey, should I short this? No, you should not. This is why you do not short in front of the freight train, guys. This is a perfect example right here. Don't short the freight train. Listen, I get it. You expect it to come back down. Sometimes the market gives you the finger and says, nope, we're going up. And then let's take a look at Microsoft. Yeah, so real steady growth here on Microsoft, looking really solid. Kind of similar to Nvidia's move. Nvidia is just going crazy. Man, look at that. Let's measure it, shall we? Where we were, like right about here. I'm not zoomed out well enough. Of course, the minute I move it, it goes away. %45 in 21 days. So basically like a month. It's gone up 45%. That's pretty crazy. So yeah, going nuts here. So why are growth stocks getting hammered right now? I think with the way that the market is behaving, right? So S&P 500 coming back towards all-time highs here. I think that people will feel more comfortable in some of these big names like Apple, like Nvidia, like Microsoft, because they know they're not going anywhere. As opposed to, some of these other growth stocks that, you mentioned that are just getting absolutely wrecked. I think people are moving out of those and moving into more stable blue chip style stocks because they feel more safe about it. Obviously, there's a lot of concern about inflation right now. There's a lot of talk about it. There's a lot of talk of all of the different bills that they're trying to push through, however many $1 trillion they want to spend now. I'll reserve my commentary for later on that. But I think there's a lot of trepidation as far as, gas prices, inflation, food prices. I think people are kind of worried about what's going on right now here in the United States. So when that happens, there are two things that usually happen. You have one, either people return into safe haven assets like gold, silver, things like that, or you start getting more movement in blue chip stocks. I think that's exactly what's happening right now. I think people are pulling their money out of these growth stocks that are, inherently a bit more risky and going with the sure play, going with the Apple, the Nvidia, things like that seem to be a more stable asset. Even if there is a downturn, it's going to come back eventually. And whereas with some of these other ones, like PLTR, like Corsair, things like that, it's a good question, whether it's going anywhere. I took the hit on Corsair. I was a little bummed because I did it like right in here, and then the next day it pushed back up to like 26.65. It was a bit of a bummer on that, but yeah. MU, so MU is actually one that I'm in now, and trust me, I am a happy man with this move. Manuel, I am very, very pleased with this, especially in my trading account. I put a profit stop on this one right back here, closer towards the simple moving average, so right around, I think, 79 is where I put my profit stop in. But yeah, MU looking spec-freaking-tacular, especially since I got in like somewhere in this area here, around 74. So I was very, very happy to see that. And definitely making a great, great move here. Really, really solid. High volume as well. So definitely getting the move. Can it go more? Abso-frickin-lutely it can. Will it? Anybody's guess. But can it continue to go? 110%. It can definitely keep going. We do seem to ran into some resistance here right around 83. We'll have to see if we can bust through that on Monday, if the euphoria continues, or if we start to see a pullback. But yeah, if you're in this one, highly recommend putting a profit stop in on Monday just to make sure that you lock those profits in. The last thing we want is for you to take a green trade and put it into the red. Question is it following AMD and NVIDIA? I would say no. I would say that these charts look somewhat different. I mean, obviously they're all going up, right? There's no doubt about that. But, you know, MU got really hammered here over the last couple months, whereas things like NVIDIA have just been steamrolling. Let's look at AMD. AMD is just like will not quit. Just going bonkers right now. I remember getting in around like 70 here and thinking I was pretty, or 80 and thinking I was pretty fly, getting out here around 90. Yeah, I was such a badass, right? Wish I was still holding that one. But yeah, looking really, really good. Yeah, Manuel, if you're not in MU now, you've missed the move. So right now it's a straight chase if you take it. You know, there is no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It is an absolute chase if you take it now. So yeah, if you're not in, I wouldn't recommend it. For me, I'm going to hold a little bit, but yeah, I'm chilling out as far as that's concerned. But yeah, obviously with the chip shortage here, companies like Micron and AMD you would think would get hit pretty hard. Micron did, AMD not so much. Same for NVIDIA. You know, we can kind of zoom that out, get the kind of bigger picture here. So, I mean, the entirety of 2021, after this short little trip and back down here to support here around 74, bounced off of that, and it's been nothing but greens, or blue skies rather, green, depending on, you know, which way you want to look at it. If you're in it long, same kind of story here for NVIDIA, bit of a rise up, come back down, hit the 200, bounced off of that, and then it's just been up and up and away for NVIDIA at this point. So, you know, chip shortage doesn't seem to be affecting them all that much, at least not the stock price. Now, what's in for inventory is another good question. But, yeah, they don't seem to be affected too much. All right, our energy stocks of play coming into the winter. I'm seeing consolidation in SO around the 200. Same for LNT. All right, well, let's take a look. SO, the Southern Company. The Southern Company. I have to say I'm not too familiar with this one, but let's, whoops, didn't want that. Go away. That's what I wanted. Oof, okay. So we got the Corona crash, then basically some consolidation. So, I mean, this one is not moving all that much. So if you're looking at it like, oh, it's going to get cold out, so I need to, you know, invest in oil companies or natural gas and things like that because it's going to go up, it doesn't necessarily always do that. It's always a supply and demand question that moves things along those lines. And then, of course, with you know, actual companies that run them, there's other things to consider as well, especially right now. Shipping has to be a big one. But, you know, this one in a slight uptrend, kind of breaking that uptrend right now, so I would be pretty careful. Yeah, you could definitely say that it's priced in because people are expecting certain outcomes. Yeah, it's like, you know, we don't necessarily always see like a spike in oil prices in summer. You may see it at the pump, but you don't necessarily see it in the price of oil per barrel Let's take a look at LNT. Okay, so LNT making a pretty, excuse me. I am running on less sleep than usual, and I haven't had my coffee today, so you're seeing the results of that now. So LNT, let's look at earnings here. Earnings were definitely in line. Things look very nice. Dividend, 40 cents, not too bad. What in the world have I done? I think I moved some of my indicators off. I'll fiddle with that later. Actually, you know what? I want it fixed right now. There we go. We'll just use this one. So, yeah. Let's close you. Leave it. We're not saving that. I like this one better of the two. It doesn't look like it's going to have a whole lot of range for you, and it looks like it's kind of a bit of a slow mover. I know when you see this, it looks big, and these bars look kind of big, but when you look at the actual range here, like if you got in now at, let's say, 57, I mean, you could be looking to make a move like to 60 or something like that. So, I mean, it's only $3 per share, so it's not a huge mover. I'm not going to say no to $3 a share, but is it something you can make a whole lot of money off of? It's yet to be seen. I mean, let's back up here. Let's take a look at the big picture. I mean, you know, just kind of on a slight uptrend, but definitely above the 200, which is nice. Looks like it had a very, you know, bullish move on Friday to push over that and push over the 50 as well. So I like this one better than SO if I had to pick one. But is it a guarantee just because we're coming into winter? Probably not. So it's one of those things. It's like with commodities, there's always, or companies that deal in commodities, there's always something else that you know, that is pushing that price. There are other factors involved, not just rather what the season is. But you know, good idea. This one looks better than the other one, and I prefer it. So. All right, well, awesome, guys. I wanted to thank everybody for coming out. Great questions this evening, as always. Really appreciate each and every one of you being part of Riz Elite and coming out to these webinars. You guys are awesome. Absolutely, thank you so much to everybody who came out tonight. And if you're not part of Riz Elite, highly recommend you get down on that link in the description in the video here and get on that mailing list. So when we open up membership in the new year, you could get in on this. So thank you everybody for coming out. Really appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one. Good night, everybody.